Welcome to Civilian Jeeps. I'm Jake, and today we're down in the garage because I've got something that I'm pretty excited about to do to my LJ here. It's something that I probably should have done a while back. I've owned this Jeep for 3 years now, and I've had some weird problems with it that I think this part is going to fix those. Now, what part is it? It's the Wranglerfix computer from Wranglerfix.com for my LJ specifically. Now, they make other computers for Wranglers, and I think they even do them for like 6.7 Cummins and Grand Cherokees and stuff like that. But this is for an 05 or 04, 06 LJ. Mine happens to be 05, 06 model LJR. But full disclaimer, I paid for this. This is not sponsored. And I'm going to be installing this today and tell you a little bit why I'm going to be putting this computer in. So let's take our new computer here by Wranglerfix, hold it up to the side of the old computer. First thing you might notice is that it's this bluish purple color, and then that the old one is just the standard silver. So I know this computer has not been replaced before, and in these LJs you can't just send your computer off and get it like flashed and fixed. You have to buy the whole computer. Now, some of the Wranglers you can just send your old computer off, but this LJ here is not one of them that you can do that. Now, the $1,000,000 question: why am I putting a computer in it to begin with? Now, I've owned this Jeep for 3 years now, and it's just had some weird quirks. Like, whenever it's at idle, especially when it's hot, sometimes it doesn't when it's cold, but especially when it's hot, it'll almost die. Like, it'll go around, 650, 700 RPM like normal, then just drop down to like 400 or 500 and just fluctuate, and everything starts shaking a little bit, your voltage starts dropping. And I've done a ton of work to this Jeep. Now, I've cleaned the throttle body, I've done the TPS, the IEC, I've put all new wiring on it. I've chased some wiring gremlins. The wiring's all straightened out. It's got Jeep cable wiring on it. All the grounds are good. So I know it's not anything throttle body related, and I know it's not wiring related. And literally the last thing I've saved is the computer. But if you go on Jeep forums, you'll see a lot of people talking about the Wranglerfix computer. So, but it is, costly. It is a hair over $1,000 for this computer. So I was just kind of like, I don't know that I want to spend that much money on it right now. But whenever I called them and was describing some of my issues, and another issue that I think is weird that I have is my voltage will fluctuate. It'll actually go all the way down to like 12.3, 12.5, and then shoot back up to like between 13.6 and 14.3. Now 13.6 and 14.3, I have no problem with those voltages, but especially when like I said, when it's hot, it just fluctuates back and forth and just does this. And I've got a little OBD reader, like a thing you plug in that shows you your gauges, and I just went out to see if it would do it, because it don't always do it, and especially in cold weather, and it's cold here in Tennessee right now. And I did go out and it did it a little bit. I'll show you that over in the corner over here and show you how it fluctuated a little bit on the RPMs. The voltage stayed fine though. I just turned it on. So to give you kind of an idea. But so anyway, I'm going to install this computer. It looks to be super simple. It looks to be 3 Torx heads right there, and obviously take your connectors off. They have red safety clips that you need to pull back, and then just carefully pop these out. Now, an automatic's going to have 4, a stick's only going to have 3. Now, whenever you call Wranglerfix.com, you're going to tell them your VIN number and the make and model, year, all that good stuff of your vehicle, and they special tune and customize these computers to your Jeep. So that's really neat. But anyway, I don't want to make this video really long, so let's just dive right into it. Take this old computer out and then put this new one in, and then I'm going to initially see how this Jeep runs, see if I notice anything. But I mean, this is not something I'm probably going to notice just immediately. So I'm going to come back like 2 weeks later and close this video out and tell you guys what I think about this computer and give you like a more in-depth what I think about it. So let's go ahead and install this computer and see how it does. Okay, so step 1, disconnect your battery. can see these little red tabs. I've slid all of them back. They're not that bad, you know, but if they are a little stuck and you can't just slide them with your thumb, get a flat head and just barely scoot it over. Now just be careful with it, and you can't see it, but I went and marked with a pencil 1, 2, 3 so I know which connector is which. But there's a little tab right here you want to push down with your finger. See if I can. The hood's kind of in the way, and the Jeep's so tall I can't just lay it back because it'll hit my garage door opener. So push this down with your thumb, and then really carefully just wiggle that out, just like that. Is a T25. These 3 bolts, there's one there. It's a little hard to see because of my wiring. There's one right there, and then there's one on the other side right there. Well, that was extremely easy. The computer is out, and here's a little side-by-side comparison. This is the Wranglerfix computer, and then this one's the old one. And I can definitely feel a difference. Like this one, I don't know exactly how to describe it on the camera, but it just doesn't feel as solid as this thing. This thing has some heft to it. So let's put the new one in and get it all plugged in. Okay, install is done. The computer is now in the Jeep. Like I mentioned, that was super easy. The battery connectors or connections, the terminals are connected back to the battery. Everything is plugged back in. The little safety clips are put back. The bolt heads are all in, all 3 of them. Only thing left to do now is fire the Jeep up and see what happens. All right, so I've rolled the Jeep out to where it is not going to kill me with carbon monoxide. So the exhaust is out of the garage. We're going to put the key in, start it up. All the lights are coming on like normal. It started right up. My mileage is still the same, which is good. 76,206. That's how many miles are on this Jeep. Voltage is reading good. It's a little over 1,000 RPMs. It is cold right now. It's choked. Everything looks normal. It's idling just fine. Which I mean, it idled with a cold start. The other one idled fine as well. So I think we're good. No check engine light, so that's a plus. Nothing just definitely, you know, standing out to me as wrong. Everything looks normal. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna wait till this heats up, then we'll drive it around the block, maybe get on it a little bit and see if I notice any sort of a difference. Well, one thing right off the bat that stands out to me is this goes from 14.3, 14.4 to 14.5. I've never seen 14.4 and 14.5 in the voltage on this Jeep. I don't know if that's just coincidence or what, but I've never seen that. The highest I've ever seen is 14.3. Mainly this stays between 13.5 and 14.3 on my voltage. So it's already higher on the voltage, which I mean, there's no problem with that. But I just thought that was funny because I mean, I have this thing going every time I drive this Jeep. Like I know what all these numbers usually are. Idle wise, we're setting at around 700 and it is warmed up. Now before, this would be bouncing, even like just warmed up off a cold start, it would be bouncing around 600, 650, sometimes 700. So it's already smoother than it was. I mean, I can feel it in the Jeep, it's already smoother. So I was gonna drive it around before I went to show you guys something next, but I don't even have to. I can notice just off these numbers here. So now, let's drive it around and see what I think about it. Guys, I just pulled out of my driveway and I already tell a difference. One, it's so much smoother. Like there's not as much hesitation by any means, but I mean, this thing just, I don't know, it just cracked me up because there was no like hesitation and it feels like I have more horsepower. And like, I don't even know how without some type of tuning in the computer, which I mean, he said I would, you know, feel a difference, but he didn't tell me, you know, how or why I would feel a difference. But yeah, I feel a difference. This thing, it's not as much of a dog on, you know, 37s with 513s and the 4.0. That's wild. I did not think this soon I would feel that much of a difference, but holy crap, just pulling out of the driveway, it was just so smooth going through the gears, and it felt like, it feels like it has more power, like no joke. And I'm not trying to sell you a computer, I have nothing to sell you. There's no benefit for me whatsoever to sell you a computer, but This thing feels like a new Jeep already, and I'm 2 minutes into it. Like, this is wild. All right, I'm back after a little drive in the LJ here, and I'm pretty impressed initially. I ain't gonna lie. Like, that was pretty overwhelming. It definitely wasn't underwhelming. I didn't know really what to expect, but that was good. Like, I feel like this Jeep, the little bugs as far as just the hesitation is definitely gone. And I feel like, I don't know if it's my Jeep computer was just so bad that there's so much hesitation that it was just bringing it down, but I definitely feel like I got more get up and go now. And I don't think it's just in my head either. Like, I really feel it. And so here's some of the numbers we're seeing. This would never idle around 700. It was always 600, 650. I mean, occasionally it might blip up to 700, but I mean, look at that. That's smooth right at 700. So we'll go down here. You know, this is typical. This is normal. I'm not seeing it. You know, the battery, I just drove this Jeep yesterday, so I think it fluctuates based upon, you know, the temperature of the battery. There's a little sensor under the tray, but I mean, it definitely shouldn't be going down to 12 like it occasionally would do in the past and almost die. Intake temperature, I'm not really going to discuss that. It has nothing to do with it. Although my intake temperature usually is lower when I'm going down the road because I have that snorkel getting the fresh air out of the top up there. Now, 203 degrees, that's normal. This Jeep goes anywhere from 195 all the way up to 210, you know, if I'm really ragging on it pretty hard. But ever since I went through the cooling, this thing's pretty steady. But however, that's just my initial impressions. But I'm gonna let this Jeep really learn this, or let the computer really learn the Jeep's what I'm trying to say. There's definitely gonna need to be some drive time for me to fully, you know, tell you guys what I think about this. So I'm gonna come back in 2 weeks and let you guys in on, you know, anything that I find within this 2 week time frame and go over it. So I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Well, it's been 2 weeks since I installed the Wranglerfix PCM on my LJ. Now, today I'm not working on the LJ. Today I'm working on my wife's Sahara TJ, and I'll give you a quick little rundown, not to take too much time, but I've been doing the smoke test on it, and it turns out a bunch of those evap lines were screwed up. And if you ever have a check engine code for evap leaks, I recommend getting a smoke tool, hooking it up to your test port, and also hooked it up to the one going to the brake booster to check the lines on the manifold there. But I found multiple lines, and I did find my large leak. The large leak going to the actual vacuum fuel canister. I did smell a like large gas smell. Oh, and the line going to the gas tank was completely gone. Disregard the engine bay. I plan on cleaning it up a little later. It's kind of grungy under there. But that's not why you guys are here. Why you're here is for the PCM. Now, the PCM in this LJ, I've been thoroughly impressed with these past 2 weeks. I did manage to run a full tank of fuel through the Jeep, but however, I forgot to do a fuel MPG test is what I'm trying to get at. I forgot to do like a fuel mileage test. I wish I would have thought to do that to see if it increased or decreased. I think if anything, it probably increased because it does seem to be running better, and I can't say enough good things about this PCM. I really think it has helped out my LJ significantly. Now, I don't have it in the garage right now, but you can see it's outside. It's kind of a crappy day here in Tennessee, extremely windy, but I got it sitting out there and it's running really well. I'm glad that I have done the PCM. I kind of wish I would have done it sooner because I did tell a big difference with it. But if you need anything with your Wrangler as far as like maybe a skim module, something to do with the PCM just in general, call, I think his name's Mark Cantrell in Florida. That's Wranglerfix. I'll put their information in the description below. Like I said, I'm not sponsored or anything by this. I paid, you know, full price for this PCM, so this is just me giving my honest opinion about this, but it has improved my LJ. So if you'd like to know anything else about it, make sure to give them guys a call. Leave a comment down below. I might be able to answer a few things for you, but this guy, Mark, he's the one that can answer any of your questions that you might have. So go ahead and give him a call if you're interested in something like this. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and when it comes to Jeeps, keep it classic.